I'm Greg Johnston, CEO of Carl Data Solutions, an industrial Internet of Things company that provides big data solutions for monitoring critical infrastructure. Carl Data offers machine learning and predictive analytics features through our cloud-based applications to deliver key asset-saving operational insights from massive amounts of data. Carl Data trades on the CSE, symbol CRL, and the pink symbol CDTAF. For more details on Carl Data, please visit carlsolutions.com.
You're listening to HowStreet.com radio, available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Welcome to HowStreet.com radio, the online source for market opinions. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Mish Shedlock, editor of Mish's Global Economic Trend Analysis on maven.net/MishTalk. Welcome back to the show, Mish.
Pleasure to be on, Jim.
Mish, are we in a recession, but nobody in the mainstream media is going to tell us because that means a loss of advertising sales for them?
I don't think we're in one yet. I think we're headed there. That's in dispute. David Rosenberg thinks we are headed for one, not in one. The signals just keep getting louder and louder, although the bond signal reversed itself. I noticed 11 different inversions yesterday. The 7 with the 7-year with the 1 year, the 5-year, the 3-year, the 2-year with the 1 year, the 5-year with the 3-month, and the 3-year with the 3-month, and the 3-month through 5-year with the Fed funds rate, all inverted yesterday. That's 11 if you add them up. I think that's a pretty strong recession signal. Retail sales in December were a freaking disaster. The other December data that came out today is a disaster. So all the signs are certainly for a slowdown. Now, what some are claiming, Jim, is this is all related. This is all related to the government shutdown in December. I don't think so, but that's what we're saying. So then I suppose they'll blame January for the cold weather. So maybe we have to wait 2 months before we see what they're saying or what happened. I think it's pretty clear the economy is slowing.
Now, of course, we can have a slow economy and not a recession. Is that possible?
Oh, sure. You know, we can flirt with being close to recession for months. It happened a couple of years back. I was pretty convinced we were heading for a recession then. It didn't happen. The ECRI called one, and then finally they walked it back. So, but we'll see. That's the expectation again right now, Jim. Actually, is that it is just going to be a slowdown, and it'll correct. That's what the Fed is saying. But, Jim, the Fed doesn't know anything. They really don't.
Is the Fed going to continue with interest rate hikes?
No, that's off the table, unless the data gets a lot stronger. And it would probably have to get a lot stronger for a couple of months in a row, given what we've gone through and given the policy reversal. I mean, we went from automatic pilot in December to 2 weeks later taking off the balance sheet reduction totally. So, and we went from 3 Fed hikes priced in for this year to none, just like that. So, in fact, the markets are expecting the next move to be a cut. So, and that's certainly my expectation here right now. The Fed is talking as if everything's okay. It's just slowing down a little bit. We'll see.
Do the jobless numbers back up what's going on?
I don't follow those jobs reports much. I think typically we see a rise in claims, in monthly, weekly claims. When we're heading into recession, we'll see. Jobs are very, very lagging. I think by the time we get that signal from the jobs market, we're already going to be 2 months into recession.
Mike, you had an interesting theory when we talked a short time ago saying maybe we won't see massive job losses this time around if there's a recession because it was so hard to find these workers in the first place.
Yeah, not exactly what I said, but the first half of that statement certainly is what I said. We've opened so many stores, Walmarts, Pizza Huts, McDonald's, whatever. It's going to take a minimum amount of staffing just to keep, these things going. So, and they're already trying to run lean. I don't think we're going to see major losses like we did, say, in the last recession. Heading into that recession, I did a post. I said, expect massive job losses every month for a year. And that's what happened. I don't think that same thing is going to happen this time. There were simply too many real estate jobs, finance jobs, etc., that vanished in the last recession. Those real estate jobs never came back, so they're not going to go away this time to the same extent, I don't think. So certainly, at a minimum, the losses this time are going to be, way subdued compared to last time. There might be losses. I think there probably will be, but I think there'll be minimum, certainly compared to what we saw last time.
These people will be working in either minimum wage jobs or just above that. So really,
they all work part-time for Uber, let's say. That counts as a job. So you're not unemployed in that situation. We also have a lot of boomers that are heading for, retirement. Maybe they move up those retirement plans by a year or so when they're laid off. Again, those people won't count as being unemployed. We'll probably see more fake disability kinds of claims like we saw last time. So it's for all of those reasons, demographics, part-time jobs at Uber, part-time jobs at restaurants, all those kinds of things. People are already working 2 part-time jobs, Jim, a lot of them. So let's say they lose one of those jobs. They're still employed, right? Yep. So those are the kinds of things that I expect, and that's the reason why I'm thinking that we're just not going to see massive job losses this go around.
We'll have more with Mike Shedlock when we return.
Arctic Star Exploration, operated by a team of proven mine finders, is focused on diamonds in Finland and the Northwest Territories of Canada. Work programs are underway in Finland and Canada. Arctic Star trades on the TSX Venture Exchange symbol ADD, on Frankfurt symbol 82A1, and the OTCQB symbol ASDZF. Please visit our website arcticstar.ca or call us at 604-689-1799.
Cypress Development Corp's flagship lithium project is located just east of Albemarle's Silver Peak mine in the heart of Clayton Valley, Nevada. A 12-hole exploration drill program for lithium-enriched claystone on Cypress's 100% controlled properties is now underway. Cypress Development Corp trades on the TSX Venture Exchange symbol CYP, the Pink's CYDVF, and on Frankfurt's C1Z1. For more information, please visit our website, cypressdevelopmentcorp.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Mike Shedlock. Mish, auto sales and home sales are plummeting. Are they another warning sign that things just aren't that hot?
I think real estate is the big one. The industrial production numbers were pretty bad. The exports collapsed this month. You can thank Trump for that one. But and certainly, I mean, no economist expected the collapse in retail sales like we saw in December. Again, they're now claiming that it was part of the government shutdown. I don't know, maybe it's because the stock market tanked in December, and so all the high flyers, stopped making big purchases. I just don't think that's it. All the signals now seem to be pointing in the same direction, which is down. And so the one that's missing here, the last one, is jobs, and that's a very, very lagging indicator. So we'll see. Interesting to see what the next couple of jobs reports look like. If we start to see, certainly if we see losses right away, I think that'll be for a couple months in a row. That'll be the signal that actually we're already in recession.
What's with this commerce study that deems European cars a threat to U.S. national security? Didn't they say the same thing about Canadian steel and aluminum so they could slap tariffs on them?
Yeah, they did. And, of course, it's all nonsense, but this is another thing, because Trump is working out a deal with China. I fully expect one. He needs a deal with China because soybean exports have collapsed. The governors of farm states, I think it was South Dakota was complaining about this, and Iowa, Illinois, all the agricultural exporting states are just getting clobbered. So Trump's going to come up with some deal with China where China is going to agree to start buying soybeans. There was another thing that came out on the report today. Agriculture exports are down 5.5% year over year. That's a big deal to all the Farm Belt states. So he needs to deal with China. But he's also threatening the EU. Now, what Trump wants to do is have trade talks with the EU, but he wants those trade talks to include agriculture. The EU is firm, adamant, no. The reason they don't want chlorinated U.S. chicken or anything else, and of course they run their ag policy over there totally in favor of the small French farm. EU is a total mess agriculture. Trump, and I agree with him on this, believes that agriculture should be part of a trade deal with the EU, but the EU says no. That's what it's all about. So Trump is threatening to put car tariffs, which will absolutely cripple Germany, but it will also cost U.S. jobs. The idea that these cars, German cars or European cars, are a threat to the United States is totally ludicrous. Most of them are actually made here, and they employ workers here in the U.S. So we are going to see huge job losses and other associated losses, especially when the EU responds back to Trump tariff, assuming Trump goes ahead with this crazy idea. And that is going to further slow, trade between the U.S. and the EU. It'll kill exports to the EU because they'll retaliate. So ending this thing with China and then starting a bigger one with the EU just is not going to do much for the world economy. In fact, it's going to be a huge negative. So all of these things are playing, are in the spotlight here, and they're just not going to work out well from where I sit if Trump actually does go ahead and do this. And since he's mentioned this about 4 or 5 times now, he usually acts on those kinds of threats if he repeats them loud enough and long enough, and that's what he's done with the EU. So Europe is already in recession. This will cripple Europe. So that's just not going to be good for the global economy, including the U.S.
But President Trump said trade wars are easy to win, and he loves tariffs.
He calls himself tariff man. I'm a tariff man. And what he actually said was, trade wars are good and easy to win. Yeah. Well, so far, he's threatened China, Canada, Mexico, the EU. I don't know that there's anybody he hasn't really threatened here. But his USMCA deal, which I believe Congress will ratify here, it's no better. It's exactly the same as NAFTA. So the U.S. got no big advantage out of that. In fact, one of the stipulations in USMCA makes it worse for the U.S. So arguably he got a worse deal than NAFTA, but roughly they're similar. So for all the bluster, he didn't gain anything. I expect a similar kind of thing with China. He is going to probably reduce the tariffs on China. China's going to agree to buy more soybeans. We're going to be back to the status quo, pretty much. Maybe still some small tariffs or the tariffs that are already in place on China. It didn't do the U.S. Much of any good. Didn't certainly bring any jobs back to the U.S. It just raised prices a little bit on consumers. So nothing good is coming out of this. And the steeper the tariffs, the worse it'll be. The threat against the EU is very, very serious. And if we don't get a deal with China and he does follow through with more tariffs here, I think it's going to be instant global recession.
We'll have more with Mike Shedlock right after this.
I'm Douglas Mason, CEO of Naturally Splendid, symbol NSP on the TSX Venture Exchange. Naturally Splendid is a biotechnology and consumer products company focused on the global cannabis and health markets. Naturally Splendid is expanding distribution in this rapidly growing market with products currently in Canada, the USA, South Korea, Germany, and Australia. To view our comprehensive company presentation and for more information, please visit our website at naturallysplendid.com.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Mike Shedlock. Mish, are driverless trucks just around the corner now?
I think so. It's 2019. I expect within a couple of years here we'll get approval from the Department of Transportation. Now, if I'm wrong and the approval from the Department of Transportation doesn't come, well, then it's not going to happen. I think that's the key holdup here at this point. There's a lot of interstate truck driving testing from multiple companies now that's actually ongoing between Arizona and California, in Nevada. These are real runs that are going right now in a test mode. It's mainly interchange to interchange, so the trucks will drive themselves from one point on the interstate to another point on the interstate. Someone has to take them to these drop-off spots, and then a driver has to pick it up at the end and drive it to the final destination. But this was how I envisioned 10 years ago that this was likely to work, and we're about there.
Could a game changer in the marijuana business be happening? Scientists now have brewed up artificial GMO pot from beer yeast.
I don't know what to make of that one. That's an interesting development, Jim. I had not read that.
It just came out today.
But if we look at say, this is one of the things that actually scares the EU about U.S. agriculture. They don't want, GMO anything. They don't want chlorinated chicken. They don't want this. They don't want that. And they want to protect the small French farm. this is a big deal, and actually this is the reason. It's agricultural policy that kills trade deals every year. You have these big global summits, all these countries get together, and at the end of the line, there's never any deal, and the reason is always over agriculture. And it's not just the EU that's protectionist. The U.S. is really bad too, with sugar lobbies and tobacco lobbies and ethanol price supports and an ethanol tax. You know, it would be far cheaper for the U.S. to get ethanol, say, from Brazil, where they can grow sugar cane a lot easier than we grow it here. But no, we've got tariffs on all of this stuff. So here, the Trump is got a finger pointed at the EU. The rest of the world has fingers pointed at both the U.S. and the EU over agricultural policies, and trade talks every year break down over agriculture.
Is it over concerns over security of food supply? You don't want to import your stuff because it could be cut off?
It's just all protectionist, Jim. It's not economical to grow sugar in the U.S. It's just not, say, compared to Brazil. I mean, yeah, we can grow sugar cane in Hawaii, but the cost of land there, to do it is extraordinarily high. So it's just a matter of protecting in industries. So and France does the same thing, and it doesn't even have to be against, say, GMOs. They want to protect their local peach market and plum market and fruit markets, and in addition, like I said, the egg market and the small French family farm. If such a thing really exists, but that's what it seems like is going on over there. So it's all just a matter of protecting local farmers. I don't believe it has anything to do with anything else, although there is a legitimate, genuine concern. Well, a concern. I don't have problems with GMOs, but some people do. And, if you do have the problem, that's another strike the EU has against, say, the U.S. But, the EU is also protectionist, say, against Australian wheat, which isn't GMO modified. It's just protectionist, period.
Mish, thank you so much for chatting with us.
Pleasure to be on, and we'll catch you next time.
My guest has been Mish Shedlock, editor of Mish's Global Economic Trend Analysis on maven.net/MishTalk. If you have any questions for Mish or any of our other guests, you can send them to info@howstreet.com. I'm Jim Goddard. Thanks for listening.
Comments made on HowStreet.com radio are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any matter whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. HowStreet.com radio is a production of HowStreet Media Incorporated.